Good morning. I'm Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to the Berks County Board of Commissioners meeting for November the 12th. Just a reminder that public comment will be accepted through the Q&A function on Microsoft Teams. Please include your first and last name as well as the municipality where you reside. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube Live, you can comment within that comment platform. As always, we will begin the meeting with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we do each week, we will begin this program with a report from Brian Gottschall. Brian is our director of the Berks County Department of Emergency Services, and he is the lead on the Berks County COVID-19 leadership team. And he's here today to give us the Berks County COVID-19 data report. Brian.
Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you very much. I did share my presentation, if IT can pop that up. Okay, great, thank you. Yes, this is our November 12th update. We did skip last week with no commissioners meeting. I don't know how the public made it through a week without hearing my data report, but somehow they struggled and life has gone on. So we're looking at the Pennsylvania early warning dashboard for last Friday. Again, this is published on a weekly basis. Interestingly, we see some downward indicators with respect to case counts and positivity, but some upward indicators with respect to hospitalizations. I have a little bit of difficulty following this, as my assertions would be that our case and positivity rates are continuing to march up at a slow rate. But again, that's the reason that we show kind of all facets of this, both the state early warning dashboard view as well as the data that we're tracking here in Berks County. This is our ongoing testing and case count smoothed graphic. This shows over the last 7 days our testing in the orange line, and over the last 14 days our case count in the blue line. And again, this is a smooth statistic so that we don't see irregularities caused by day-over-day changes. But I do want to draw the public's attention to the fact that we have our case counts over a 14-day period climbing significantly, getting us back into the area that we were in during the spring. Our first test positivity, again, taking out of the equation any of the recurring or serial testing at custodial care facilities like nursing homes. We're seeing those numbers remain somewhat stable, much higher than they were in the summer, but at least at this juncture, not climbing considerably beyond where we've been over the last 2.5 weeks or so, but still well into the double digits, which is significantly beyond what we experienced throughout the summer months. Again, our case rate, much the same as our positivity, up dramatically over the summer months, but holding fairly steady over the last 2.5 weeks. I do want to talk just a moment here about the hospital numbers, because the difference from 1029 to 11/6 looks rather alarming at face value when we see 72 known or suspected cases in-house versus 177. And after some discussion with our counterparts at Tower Health, we believe that there may have been some confusion about how they were reporting that data versus what we were asking for. They've now corrected that over this last week, which has created what appears to be this significant increase in a week's time. But I do believe there's some artificiality in those numbers. We will continue to monitor those week over week once we get past this week with the confusion. I do want to bring to the public's attention, though, one of the things that I hear a lot in having discussions with folks in the public about the need to continue to take strong mitigation actions is that, yeah, our case counts are up, but our hospitals aren't being overwhelmed. And I think that that's true. Our hospitals are not being overwhelmed, but our hospitals are very busy. In discussions with the emergency manager at Tower Health last week, during one of the days that I spoke with him and I was conversing about their census, his statement to me was, "This is a good day. We're at 95% of capacity." They have been at 115% of capacity on some days over the last few weeks. So again, this is not all because of COVID. It's because our hospitals are busier during the fall, winter illness season as that starts to begin. But when we're adding COVID on top of that, that does create a problem for our hospitals. So I would really encourage the public to think about that and consider that although our hospitals are not bursting at the seams with COVID patients, our hospitals are very busy and don't have a whole lot of excess capacity to handle COVID cases. And that's the reason that we as a community want to continue to act prudently as we're implementing mitigation measures. So this is, again, the slide that we look at week over week, where we look at kind of how Berks County ranks among other counties in the state. And I apologize profusely, I did not change the dates in this slide. However, please accept that the 3 weeks that are shown are the most recent 3 weeks. And what we see is that we're our testing per capita, we got a little bit better, but now we're going back down again. That's very much due to the additional testing boost that we got from the municipal stadium program. And we are seeing our order by cases per capita remain a little bit lower than it was. I guess that's good news for Berks County if we live in a silo, but we don't live in a silo. We live in a community with all of the other counties around us. And the reality is that we're seeing case counts increase in all of the counties throughout the Commonwealth. And that's having the effect of driving Berks County's statistic down. I mentioned the municipal stadium testing. That's been over for a couple weeks, but it's taken some time for us to get the data from DOH. We do see that we conducted 3,464 tests at that facility. And here's the breakdown of those tests by number of positive, number of negative, and percent positivity within the age group. And I did put a highlight around these three. We talked about this over the last couple weeks as these test results were coming in day by day. Now that we have them all in, we want to look very carefully at this 5 to 24-year age group and the amount of positivity in the right-hand column that we had in that age group. Between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 of the tests administered at that facility in those age groups were positive. Those are some big numbers. Now, I guess the good news is from our contact tracers, we're not seeing things like our schools acting as a nexus of COVID spread in the community. So that's great news, but we do need to be attentive to the fact that those younger age groups are positive are in many cases largely positive for COVID and therefore act as a potential asymptomatic spreading vector of the disease in the community. So that's it, Commissioner, back to you.
Brian, I had a question.
Brian, questions. Commissioner Barnhart.
I think it was too slight. You spoke about artificiality at the hospitals. Is that in the previous week or the existing, the new week? The 20, you said there was some numbers that were skewed there. Is that this, is the 1029 too low?
So it depends on how you look at it. Our slide, as you can see here in the title, Commissioner, indicates total known or suspected cases in-house. Right. And what we're interested in there is cases that may have testing that has not been returned yet. So we're asking the hospitals to tell us about patients with COVID-like symptoms that don't have another diagnosis. What we discovered is that Tower was reporting to us only known cases. So it's hard to say whether it's low or high. It depends on how you look at it. Based on the title of the slide of known or suspected, the 11.6 number is the more accurate number. However, that does include potentially individuals who ultimately will not turn out to be COVID positive after their case is fully analyzed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Brian Gottschall? Okay, thank you very much, Brian. I do want to note that we had 3 executive sessions since our last commissioners meeting. On October 29th, dealt with personnel and litigation. On November the 5th, personnel, and again on November the 6th, dealing with personnel. Are there any additions or corrections for the October 27th, 2020 operation meeting minutes, or the October 29th commissioner meeting minutes, or the November 10th operation meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Mary, is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
There are not.
Thank you very much. Our first item 1 under authorizing, we have Peter Edelman here to talk about a municipal authority project with the Cairn Foundation. Peter is joining us via phone. Peter Edelman. #6 or *6 to unmute.
Now.
There you go.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Peter. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this morning and to consider this resolution on behalf of the Richard J. Cairn Foundation. As Commissioner Leinbach mentioned, the Berks County Municipal Authority is moving forward with a refinancing project on behalf of the Cairn Foundation related to Cairn's 16 bonds. This is not necessarily a traditional refunding, but more in the nature of a restructuring. The Cairn Foundation is moving forward with some projects in the state of Florida. You may know that they have treatment facilities, actually substantial treatment facilities in Palm Beach County, Florida, and are in the process of financing the construction of a new medical center in Palm Beach County. And as a part of that financing, it became apparent that it would be helpful to Cairn to also restructure a portion of the debt here in Pennsylvania. So they identified the Series A of 2016 bonds to restructure. This resolution that you have before you is simply a requirement of the Internal Revenue Code to have the Board of County Commissioners approve the project that the authority is undertaking on behalf of the Cairn Foundation. This resolution does not obligate the county in any way towards the payment of the bonds, but merely is just a process that we need to go through to allow the bonds to be issued on a tax-exempt basis.
Okay.
So yeah, at that point, I'll just see if there's any questions from the board.
Any questions from my colleagues for Peter?
No.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Peter. Appreciate you coming on and explaining that item.
Yes, thank you again. Have a great day.
Great, you too. We'll continue with the agenda. Budget Department adopt a resolution authorizing 2020 budget transfers in the amount of $1,488,108 and 2020 appropriations in the amount of $6,089,438 per listing dated November the 9th. There are several items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the appointment of Mark Leocano to Facilities Manager, North Campus in Facilities and Operations. Item 2, authorize the appointment of Ciara Wolf to Registered Nurse Supervisor, Nursing Administration. Item 3, authorize the promotion of Brandy Nider from Interim Director of Children and Youth Services to Children and Youth Services Administrator in Children and Youth Services. Item 4, Authorize the transfer of Patrick Sleppy from Senior Financial Analyst, Budget and Finance Department to Senior Governmental Accountant in the Office of the Controller. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing approval of the revised drug and alcohol policy of the Human Resources Policy and Procedure Manual. We have a number of items listed under Commissioner Barnhart. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Joan Lewis, Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Dr. Amanda Gosling, Shillington, PA, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of John McCann, Douglasville, PA, to the Berks County MHDD Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Christopher Nider, Reading, PA, to the Berks County MHDD Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Kathy Palat, Blandon, PA, to the Berks County MHDD Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Commissioner Michael Rivera, Reading, PA, to the Berks County MHDD Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of James Coker, Ole, PA, to the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 3-year term ending on December 31st of 2023. I have several items listed under Commissioner Rivera. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Charles F. Barbera, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Area Agency on Aging for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2023. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of John Fielding, Mount Penn, PA, to the Berks County Housing Authority for a 5-year term expiring on December 31st of 2021. The last appointment expired on December 31st of 2016. So Commissioner Rivera is catching this appointment up to where it needs to be. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Michael Emery, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Park and Rec Board for a 4-year term expiring on December 31st of 2024. I have one item listed under my name, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of David Phillips, Mooresville, PA, to serve as chair of the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 1-year term, which will expire December 31st of 2021. There are several items listed under the commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the automobile theft, motor vehicle insurance fraud intergovernmental agreement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania State Police, and Berks County for participation by Berks County in the Municipal Automobile Theft Motor Vehicle Insurance Fraud Task Force. The program is a 1-year program effective July 1 of 2020 through June 30th of 2021. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing Pam Seaman, acting MHDD administrator, to accept the capitation rates offered by the Department of Human Services for the Health Choices program for the calendar year January through December of 2021 as outlined in Appendices 3. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the local workforce development grant application agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry for the purposes of carrying out Pennsylvania workforce development services pursuant to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and other applicable federal and state programs for the period of July 1 of 2021 through June 30th of 2024. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute an amendment to the product supply agreement between Electrostatic Sanitation Services and the County of Berks to provide for additional compensation resulting from delays and unanticipated schedule changes in accessing polling places used by the county as a polling place for the general election. Item E, adopt a resolution ratifying, confirming, and approving execution of a letter of support from the Board of Commissioners to the Commonwealth Financing Authority for the Supernatural Produce 3 Intercity Economic Catalyst Project by Leopoldo Sanchez. The project is expected to provide an entry-level and mid-level job opportunities to 100 or more employees in the city of Reading and the county of Berks. Item F, adopt a resolution ratifying, confirming, and approving execution by the chair of the use license agreement between ASM, Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, and the county of Berks for use of the Santander Arena on Election Day, November 3rd, to accommodate 4 city polling places. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the following documents required by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for the acquisition of county-owned land for the Glendale Bridge in Douglas Township, a settlement, statement, deed, agreement of sale, and temporary easement for construction. Item H, adopt a resolution ratifying, confirming, and approving execution by the chair of the client requirement document for CVS Health for the exclusion of the muscular dystrophy class of drugs from the county's prescription program. Effective January 1 of 2021, member employees would be able to obtain the drug directly from the manufacturer, possibly at no cost to the member employee. Item I, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the reporting agent authorization for ADP Tax Services to provide outsourced tax processing required for the new HRMS system. Item J, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the lease agreement between Berks County Nonprofit Development Corporation and the County of Berks, under which BCNDP will construct a building of approximately 2,710 square feet in order to provide courtroom space and related facilities for MDJ Sandra Fegley. The lease agreement has an initial term of 20 years and provides the county with 4 options to renew of 5 years each. The minimum rent for the entire lease term, including renewal terms, is $600,000 payable, $200,000 upon execution of the lease, and $400,000 upon issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the premise. In addition, the county pays for all utilities, trash removal, recycling, janitorial services, landscaping, snow removal, and certain repairs and maintenance charges. The anticipated commencement date is November 1st of 2021. Item 2, a motion authorizing execution of contract agreements and amendments as furnished by the contract coordinator as set forth on the attached listing dated November the 10th of 2020. There are a total of 14 contracts, 2 with the Area Agency on Aging, 1 with the Berksheim, 1 with CareerLink, 2 with Children and Youth Services, 3 with the Commissioners, 1 with Facilities, 1 with MHDD, 2 with Parks and Recreation, and 1 with the Public Defender. Item 3, a motion to ratify and confirm payments as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated November the 10th of 2020, and the payment of electronic transfers and employee payroll.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. We'll turn now to our County Treasurer, Dennis Adams, with the Treasurer's report.
Good morning.
We have an opening bid today, opening challenge today of $184,668,982.11. A balance to clear of $4,915,905.18, leaving us with a balance of $179,753,056.93.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And we'll now move to our County Controller, Sandy Graffius, with the Controller's Report.
Okay, our total accounts payable this week was $28,352,327.86. We had a payroll, $4,362,633.65 for a grand total of $32,714,961.49.
Thank you, Sandy. We'll move now to our Chief Administrative Officer for his report. Ron Seaman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just want to take a moment to offer my personal thank you and extend a real pat on the back to the 200+ county employees who rose to the call and came out on Election Day to the DoubleTree Ballroom and the Park Road or the Callow Hill Ballroom to assist in the opening of the mail-in and absentee ballots. Without their efforts, this Herculean task could not have been accomplished in a timely basis as it was by 9:30 p.m. on Election Day. They performed superbly. Everybody cooperated as well as you could under the circumstances. It was a chaotic type thing, but it was very organized, ran very smoothly, and I just really appreciate all their efforts. And I think the public needs to know that here in Berks County, at least, the process was flawless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. We'll move now to Commissioners' reports, and we'll begin with Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and everyone who joined us this morning. I have 7 items to cover, so buckle your chin strap. I'll try to be quick. First of all, going back to our agenda, I want to congratulate Brandy Niter for taking over the reins of Children and Youth Services. Brandy's been with the county for nearly 30 years and is well deserving of this elevation to this position. Congratulations to Brandy Niter. Thank you, Commissioner Michael Rivera under MHDD. MHDD board is a very active board and should have commissioner representation. And both Commissioner Leinbach and I certainly agree that for many years we were carrying the burden of a lot of these appointments on both of our shoulders. So it's really nice to have a team here that is willing to come aboard and really help with some of these necessary functions of county government that may go unnoticed by the public, but are very important to have input from the board at the MHDD Advisory Board. So thank you, Michael. I want to say something about the MDJ Fegley was the last item on the agenda. Adopt the resolution having the Berks County Not-for-Profit Development Corporation construct a building. We've been looking at this for more than 5 years. This will be the very first built MDJ office built to suit, actually designed as an MDJ office for many, many years. We have been using storefronts and other areas that were not actually built or never were designed as an MDJ office. And this is going to be our first prototype out in Exeter Township. And it's my hope and vision that in the future, we will continue to replicate these throughout the county as we move forward, as leases expire with some of the other MDJ offices we have. This will really give us a test as to a state-of-the-art facility that can really be utilized simply as an MDJ office, not being repurposed from a previous tenant. So as Ron pointed out, in election services, I can't thank them enough. The election services workers, our poll workers, 1,200 strong, our county employees who step forward, our leadership staff here. Some people, in fact, logged 18 hours on election day and many hours prior to and even up till today. I just want to caution everyone, the bulk of the work was accomplished, but there's still an awful lot of work to be done. We are getting numerous contacts from people hey, I want to make sure I get credit for voting. Where's my credit in the database? That's literally one of the last things to occur. That may not happen until the end of November, so don't check the website every day to see if you got credit for voting. It'll eventually appear. So there's, again, still a lot of work to be done. We have an election board meeting right after this meeting with a lot of tasks that are still at hand. And again, my compliments to everyone who pulled this together. I think our goal was not to be on the national news as either waiting for us or having glitches in the system. I think from that standpoint, everyone involved did a tremendous job. CARES Act money continues to be processed through Pam Shoop and the purchasing office and Paul Bradshaw to actually get the paperwork and the contracts in place to disperse the CARES Act money to the community. So that doesn't go unnoticed by the recipients, but we're going to really be ramping up the efforts to promote this to the community, that the money is out there in good hands. Cook County Wellness Report is very extensive, but I want to point out that some of the potential larger exposures from October 22nd to November 4th are again schools, colleges, sports teams, workplaces, daycare. So it's really out there. Schuylkill Valley Elementary and Middle School shut down affected classrooms. She must give this is Carolyn Basic, must give a shout out to Superintendent Mike Mitchell, who has truly been amazing in his handling of the positive cases in his district. Expose students out of the building as soon as possible, complete line lists, and 100% support of the isolation, quarantining, contact tracing protocols. He and his staff are to be commended. Again, this is what we've been preaching for 8+ months, that if and when this occurs, unfortunately, there are mechanisms in place to make sure it doesn't spread beyond maybe the 1 or 2 people that have tested positive. So kudos to Mike Mitchell, superintendent at Schuylkill Valley. Last but not least, we have budget ops meetings on Tuesdays from 9:30 till 12. And we're not catching, and we should be catching some of the public as well as the media, because we've said this, I think, for 13 years. Most of the really critical decision-making process happens at our budget ops meetings. For years, they were held on a Thursday afternoon, and now we moved them to Tuesday just to kind of balance things out, give people more time and opportunity to make their presentations. I do want to highlight 4 items that were discussed on Tuesday, if I may. Angora Fruit Farm plans, a small piece of land in dead-end center of the Angora Fruit Farm, the Antietam Lake Park. We have engaged several entities to actually update our plans for an environmental education center there, as well as the park in its entirety. So we are moving forward, even through COVID-19. There are plans in place. The 10-year plan has expired, so we're updating the whole master plan. And we want to make sure Angora Fruit Farm, for the long-term future, is the best and highest possible use of that facility. There are buildings there that may be retained or may be removed and replaced by other buildings. That's going to happen probably within the next several years. We also discussed the possibility of electronic poll books for elections. We are going to be having a demonstration sometime in December of electronic poll books. So we are not making a decision at this point. We just want to see if there's a possibility that could potentially ease the work of the poll workers, as well as make the lines somewhat more efficient going forward during election season. Adult probation requested a position which we approved through salary board for electronic monitoring. So they will have an additional staff member hired in adult probation to monitor up to 150 pretrial individuals. The effect here is to lessen the population in the jail. So very pleased, the board was very pleased to hear this proposal from Bob Williams, and that should be being instituted in the next few weeks. Last but not least, a little known thing that has been done here for many, many years is the Children's Alliance Center, which is housed in the Services Center. For many years, it was an Opportunity House administered by Opportunity House. They have decided to pull back from operating the Children's Alliance. So that will be then undertaken by our district attorney's office early part of 2021 with some reorganization of his staff. It'll be there to serve the needs of abused and allegedly abused children in Berks County. So thank you for the time. I know I ran through a lot of things, but I think it's important for the public and the media to know that a lot of things happen, and they don't just happen at a Thursday morning meeting for an hour. It's a lot of things happen Monday through Friday that may not be captured. But again, it's very critically important that this county continues to move forward in the fashion we have done so far this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Barnhart. We'll move now to Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. And I just want to echo the thanks to Election Services and everyone there, their hard work, the long hours. Also want to thank the county employees who volunteered to work at the DoubleTree in the opening of the ballots in the county. So thank you to all of them. They worked long days and everything went well. Also want to thank all the interpreters as well. We had over 100 interpreters signed up and showed up on election day to serve as interpreters. We had customer service representatives who were bilingual, who were answering calls, both English and Spanish. We had virtual interpreters as well. So if there was a polling place where someone had any questions or needed interpretation and there was not an interpreter there, it was done virtually. There was not much use for that service, but we'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. We also had a number of polls who are considered, or which are considered high Latino population polls. They all had interpreters there working the polls from beginning to the end. There were no issues with that. I know there were some concerns from some organizations that there were issues with translators. There were no issues with translators. The translators were at where they needed to be at. The only issue at one location was that there was issue finding the names of the Latino voters just because of the way they're laid out. Some of them have first name, middle name, first last name, second last name, and depending on how they registered or how it's written in the poll book, it's harder to find. One letter as pronounced or the name pronounced may sound one way, but it's actually written another way because of the different way you pronounce the letters between English and Spanish. So that was the main issue there. Once that was determined there was additional interpreters sent to help out at that poll. But again, it was not an issue of not being interpreters. It was not an issue of the poll workers not wanting to work with the voters there. Something that we are going to look at for next year is possibly having more than one interpreter at the locations that have a very high Latino population there, and also having poll workers that are bilingual and speak Spanish as well. So I urge the organizations out there that were looking to see what issues were going on and were concerned with this issue, that please help us find bilingual poll workers. Please help us find more translators. We have translators that have been here for years and years, but we're always looking for more. We're looking for bilingual poll workers as well. So please help be a part of the solution and help us find people to work the polls. It's not an easy job. It's 12, 13, 14 hours a day for $180. And you have people, that go in there, they're not happy for one reason or another. So it's just, at times a thankless job. So we need people to help fill those positions, and your help would be greatly appreciated in that aspect. Second, the New Start Small Business Grant Program is now almost finalized. They're in the process right now of getting all information that is needed yet by the businesses that applied for that grant. So again, if you are a business that applied, or if you know of a business that applied, please reach out to them, ask them if they received the emails, if they submitted all the information. If they have any questions, they need to call this week. There is a time limit on when the information needs to be received. As of now, that is Monday. And if that information is not received, they may not be able to receive the grant money. So please help us get the word out. Share with the small businesses that they need to verify that they got an email from either Lendistry, who's the third party that's handling all the process, or Community First Fund. And if they did get the email, that please, they need to respond to it as soon as possible. One other item, I want to also congratulate Brandy Nider. We're looking forward to working with her and continuing to move children and youth services forward to benefit the citizens of Berks County. I did have the opportunity to meet with her and Mike Toledo from the Hispanic Center last week, and we took a tour of Life House. Life House, I've driven by it many times, didn't know it was there, didn't know what it was, but we took a tour of it. And basically, Life House it's a house, it's a row home, and it's set up to be able to help parents in educating them as to how to deal with their children. So let's say it's a single mom who has a newborn and a toddler. How do I deal with them while I'm cooking a meal? So it's one thing to say, well, you need to do A, B, C, and D, but it's a completely other thing to take that single mother with her kids into that kitchen and have her actually prepare the meal and have someone there helping her and showing her what to do. The day we went, there was a father there with about a 2-year-old and a maybe less than a year-old child there as well. And there was someone there helping him on how to deal with different situations that may arise with having to deal with 2 small kids at the same time. So it's a great opportunity. They're always open to taking donations. So if you have any food, toys, diapers, anything like that, please reach out to them. They not only help the families that go there for assistance, but they also help any family within the community that needs help with these different items. So I want to thank the people at Life House, the work that they do there. It was great to see how they're helping improve the lives of many of the families here in Reading and in Berks County. So thank you very much. That's all I have, and Commissioner Leinbach, back to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Barnhart. I have several items I'd like to highlight. I will go through them quickly. I also want to offer my congratulations to Brandy Nider as our new director of CYS. She's got, I think, somewhere around 30 years of experience in our CYS department, and she's been doing a great job. Very glad to see her go from the interim status to the full-time director for that department. I also want to note that next Thursday, we will have the annual budget presentation for 2021. The big news at this point, without going into any detail, is our CFO, Bob Patrizio, is not recommending any tax increase for 2021. For the rest of the details, tune in next week to our commissioners meeting, and that presentation of the budget will occur at that time. I also want to offer my thanks to our elections team. This was an election cycle unlike any in my lifetime, and people that I've talked to, I don't know anyone that remembers anything quite like this. I want to encourage the public, though. While Election Day is over, we have numerous statutorily required deadlines that our staff must meet. There are a variety of legal challenges impacting the Berks County Election Office. And please be aware, if you have, and Commissioner Barnhart referred to this, if you have recommendations as observers, or you have questions that are not time sensitive, please understand we are focused and our team is focused on those things that must be done by particular deadlines, and that's what we have to do. There's a lot of pressure on our staff, and again, I know the public may think the election's over and it's got to be much easier. It's actually, in some respects, even more difficult because of certain aspects of this process. Provisionals. Normally, we receive somewhere in the vicinity of 600 to 700 provisional ballots. We're still going through the provisional ballots from Election Day. There are approximately 5,200 of the provisional ballots. And we have a deadline looming in 2.5 days, I believe, Commissioner Barnhart. That's where our focus has to be. We promised that we're going to review our election process top to bottom. I too believe our team, both the core team in the elections department, our poll workers on election day, our employees that came in on election day and worked, did a tremendous job. We really appreciate their hard work, and we are continuing that hard work. Finally, yesterday was Veterans Day. It's the day we set aside to recognize all of the men and women that have served and are serving our country. And 2020, unfortunately, is a year where we've not been able to do many of the special programs that would occur. In fact, many of the regular Veterans Day events that occur throughout the county, very, very few were able to take place. And two of the major ones, the Veterans Appreciation Dinner Dance that would have taken place, I believe, last Saturday evening, was canceled months ago. And Customers Bank Veterans Appreciation Luncheon that normally would have taken place last Friday was canceled. Just want to encourage folks, you see a veteran, especially during this time of year, take a moment to thank them for their service. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have free and open and fair elections. Those are my comments. And at this time, we'll open it up. Are there any row officers that would like to make comments? Hearing none, we will go to citizen comment. And Mary, if you could please read the comments that have been provided.
Liz Cates, Bern Township. Commissioner Leinbach, with COVID hospitalizations in the state doubling over the past 20 days, do you regret your grandstanding role in the Trump rally held at the airport, and will you apologize to the citizens of Berks County for allowing it to take place? Crystal Kowalski, why I'm missing. Good morning, commissioners. What were the results of the COVID tests given to the people incarcerated at the Berks County Prison following the 2 prison staffers testing positive? Thank you, Crystal Kowalski. Jane Palmer, why I'm missing. First, thank you to the hundreds of poll workers and ballot counters who did so much to make sure all votes were counted in Berks and the election process smooth. I am grateful for your service. I know everyone involved worked hard, but the people of Berks County deserve so much more from you, our elected officials. When you had an opportunity to engage more voters, especially in a non-traditional way, like texting, you should have jumped on it. When you know full well that the city of Reading has a majority Latinx population, you should have made sure the judges of elections at precincts with Spanish-speaking voters were fluent in Spanish, not flummoxed by, quote, the Spanish people and their names, as one judge of elections infamously said. When you knew tens of thousands of voters were planning to vote by mail, you should have set up ballot drop boxes throughout the county with evening and weekend hours, just like they did in Montco and Chesco. You did none of these things. You did the bare minimum, and in the middle of a pandemic and the most consequential election of our lifetimes, the minimum is not good enough. Christopher Ellis, Reading. As you have heard about the increases in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations, I wonder what it says that Commissioners Rivera and Leinbach attended a large public gathering of over 1,000 people, many of whom were unmasked and standing around for hours together. We are just now starting to see the cases from a different large public gathering just 1 week prior to that. Community spread is no joke, and it doesn't stop because you want to attend a political rally, a rally where the president said COVID would go away after November 3rd. You should be ashamed of yourselves and your lack of leadership, and I hope you do better in the future. Commissioner Leinbach's statement in the Reading Eagle was simply absurd. John Archer, Spring Township. I would be totally remiss if I failed to acknowledge the truly great amount of cooperation and responses that the observers received on election week from all of the commissioners and election services directors, and certainly Rod Seaman. All of the Berks County employees were operating without much rest and managed to continue on regardless. Thanks, folks. And that concludes our comments.
Thank you, Mary. That closes our comment period. Do any of my colleagues have any comments they would like to offer? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion. Oh, Commissioner Barnhart.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
The meeting stands adjourned.